Hi everyone, I got back very late last night from the great state of Texas. I was there, as many of you know, for 2 days. What day is it? The third, I had a keynote at the University of Houston Law School, which was exceptional. I was in dialogue with a professor there, Kate Brem, who read my book and saw it as a foundation for a new ethics of professionalism in young lawyers, which was very wonderful and exciting, and it was great. It was a full room at the law school, so really grateful for that. And then Braver Angels of Houston graciously hosted me for an evening event, and it was great to meet so many of their constituents, of their members. Really thoughtful conversation there about our legislative initiative. So all day yesterday, I was up at 5, took a coach from Houston to Austin, and had a first meeting at 9 a.m. With the legislature, and it was riveting. I left very hopeful and really grateful for this opportunity to put the ideas of my book, The Soul of Civility, into practice in a high-stakes, tense political environment. I had a meeting with several senior staff of the legislature. We had Republican, Democrat staff. We had staff from the Senate and from the House. And these are staff who have read my book and really believe in the mission of this initiative and work. And the meeting there was twofold. One, what is the role of staff to seeing the legislative initiative, this member-led grassroots initiative around the themes of my book, succeed? And the second goal of that meeting was, what would a parallel initiative look like for staff? And we talked about infusing this into some of the staff mentorship programs, into the chiefs of staff meetings that they have regularly, and just lots of really thoughtful ideas. And most of all, it was great to have such passionate advocates, people who are excited about this. They see the need for these ideas and for this work in their working context. And what I said to them was, and what I said in every one of my meetings, that the vision here is that this is something that is built and led and sustained by you. You know, I'm the catalyst. My book is a canvas for you to have these conversations and to build a culture of trust across deep difference. And so just really, really grateful for these staff and their leadership. And then the members meeting. So Texas is really unique. They meet every 2 years. This is an off year. There's no legislative, activity going on in this time. So all the members that came, they, flew in, drove in. They're not there all the time because they're not in session. And this is actually a really crucial reason why we're starting this work now. You can't manufacture social trust. You can't just on command show up once every 2 years and expect to have friendships and trust and respect that is going to enable working relationships across difference. So that's why, we're starting this a year before session, which is really great, really exciting. And we had 4 members there. We had Republicans, we had Democrats, we had members from the House, members from the Senate. And so it's great that the seeding, the foundation of this initiative is bipartisan and bicameral. That's really important. And we talked about many important things that are on their mind. I was really kind of in listening mode the whole day. Like, where do you see needs? Where do you see opportunities for growth? Where should we begin? We talked about lots of ideas, like having my book be read in a session for freshman legislators. Like, the moment a legislator is elected, that they are oriented around the themes of my book: civility versus politeness, crisis of dehumanization, seeing the dignity and humanity of the other, legislator, the person that you disagree with, seeing staff. Not ignoring the staff or treating them poorly like they don't exist, or that, that they're not valuable, because they are. One thing I noted, I've had dozens of conversations at this point with legislators, with staff. And I think one thing I'm really encouraged by in this work is that whenever I talk about this initiative that we're building, that is member-led, member-built, member-sustained, someone always says to me, I know exactly who should be part of this. This one member, this person really embodies everything you're trying to promote. And the encouraging thing is, often that's a different member every time I hear it. That people, when they think of civility, they have someone that comes to mind. And I've heard, dozens of names. They're really good. That's a really great working foundation. It's not always like, you're doing something civility. I have someone who should be there because he's part or she's part of the problem, that there are good models of this work already in the legislature that we are bringing into the fold with this. So that's really encouraging. Another thing we talked about was civic friendship. And how, there were members at our session, it got really emotional at times, who said, I voted a certain way, and now my colleagues won't even look me in the eye anymore. They won't talk to me. They won't acknowledge my existence. And that hurt. There's a lot of woundedness. There's a big breakdown of trust because of recent political battles. And what we know about social trust from history is that it can be rebuilt, but it is fragile. And it must be maintained, it must be cultivated, which is why we're building this initiative that, again, is member-led, member-sustained, and it's ultimately to create a culture of trust that is cultivated and nurtured day in, day out, moment by moment. Again, not just showing up when the legislative session starts and on command trying to manufacture the kind of trust that sustains a democracy. I then was invited to the governor's office and met with half a dozen senior staff there to share about this legislative initiative, share with them a little bit about my book, and all really encouraging, really supportive, really thoughtful questions. So grateful for the opportunity to brief senior staff there about our workings. This is an opportunity to test these ideas in real time. In an environment of low civic friendship, low trust, can it be rebuilt if even just a few members believe it can and want to build it? I think it can, and we're starting with a really great foundation. We're going to start reading my book. We're going to engage in a 12-week reading with members, and the goal is to have new members come to the fold every time. We're going to do this virtually and weekly, and just grow and have every session be not just reading and discussing the content of the book, but also directly thinking, how does this apply to the legislature that we currently occupy now, and how can this better our working relationships and how we show up to serve our constituents and our state now. So on the whole, I'm hopeful, and I'm honored to help lead this, to partner with these members in the Texas State Legislature to lead this. And the vision is to build something, build a set of tools, build a framework that can then serve other leaders in other legislatures and other divided, toxic environments of low trust, low civic friendship. So thank you all for your questions, for your prayers, for all the good vibes that you sent. It was a really good day, and I'm feeling a lot of hope, a lot of gratitude to these leaders who are saying, these staff members in the governor's office who are saying the way that things are is not the way that they should be. And I can't control others, but I can control myself, and I am going to choose to double down, reclaim my civic power, my agency, and be part of the solution right now. That is what these members who showed up to this meeting said yesterday. And that is fertile ground for something beautiful and sustainable to take root and flourish in Texas. So I welcome your advice. I welcome your feedback. I invite your questions. If you have any thoughts for how to help this succeed, any partner organizations, people, or institutions in Texas we should bring into the fold, I welcome all of that. So thank you for your friendship, your partnership, your support, your passion for this work, and stay tuned. This is just getting started. The Civic Renaissance Tour in Shelbyville, now Texas, and it launches in Indianapolis in just a few weeks in a partnership with Indiana Humanities, the Fairbanks Foundation, and University of Indianapolis. And I'll link to that event and invite you to join for that public conversation, that free public initiative and Civic Renaissance launch in Indianapolis soon. But excited for this work, and thank you for being here.